Starting to stream. All right, folks. Give me a minute. Hello, folks. We're just getting this thing going, so give me a minute. All right, cool. We're gonna start doing everything at 5:30, folks. So we're just giving it a second. All right, howdy, friends. Happy Sunday evening, everybody. Cool. Giving it a second, everybody. We're gonna get this show going. There we go. All right, we're going live. We're live on both Twitch and Instagram, folks. So there we go. So good times, everybody. So we got the stream going. So that is pretty good. Let me just edit some stuff as we get going. Cool. Awesome. Just make sure we're all going. Cool. All right. So, everybody, we're going to be doing an MM Studio Class 0413. So, we're on here on Instagram and also Twitch, everybody. If you want the Twitch link, again, it's up on the Instagram profile. So, we're going to start in like 2 minutes, everybody. We're just making sure all stuff is kind of queued up. But again, happy Sunday, everybody. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're not doing ALPS today. We're going to be doing topere / electrocapacitive today. So this is a build I've been waiting to do for a really long time. So we're going to get it going. We're going to give it a couple of more minutes. Just want to check a couple things on Discord really quick, and then we're going to get going, everybody. So if you pop in either now or later in the stream, it's all good, everybody. So we're just going to check in and make sure we get it going. So, it's all good. All right. I think we're going to get this one going, everybody. So, should be good. All right, everybody. We're going to jump into it, everybody. So, again, we're both here on Twitch and Instagram. Whatever one works for you, it's all good. So, all right, everybody. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing topere today. We're not going to be doing ALPS. We will be doing we have a bunch of exciting ALPS builds coming up this week. We got the ETAR tomorrow at 5:30. We got the BP1 Tuesday at 5:30, and we got the Hippo TKL on Thursday. This is just one I wanted to kind of sneak in before we get the week going, which is going to be a topere build. So this is my personal MM Studio Class 0413. This thing is just kind of legitimately insane. This is a crazy, crazy board. So what we're going to be doing with this board is we're actually going to be converting it to topere. So I want to show, this is how it's been built for the past, I'd say, year or so. I've had this board for about a year. When the board originally sold, they just did either hot swap or solder Cherry MX for this board. But MMCU said that they would eventually do a Topre kit. So over the summer, they had extras of this board for sale as well as additional parts. So among those additional parts that were for sale were the Topre conversion kits for this particular keyboard. So when that extra sale happened, I snagged a few more solder Cherry MX PCBs, and I snagged the Topre kit as well as some Topre PCBs. They only had a handful of the Topre stuff available. So and also for this board, when the group buy originally ran, they only made 200 of these boards. So one thing that's really cool about this board, also it's ridiculously heavy. It's like 10 pounds. So on this particular board, every single one is numbered. So every single board has a serial number. So if we kind of put mine up here, I don't know if you can see it, but in that bottom right-hand corner, that's my serial number, and I have number 33 of 200 of the original product run. So this was a very limited run for MM Studio. They did it very limited for this board because there's a lot of manufacturing that goes into this board. It's ridiculously heavy. Like the case unbuilt is 10 pounds of like aluminum and brass. Like this board is ridiculously overbuilt and it's just amazing. I love this board. It's one of my favorites. But I knew I wanted to convert this to Topre because I'm a big Topre fan. And another one of my MM Studio boards I have here is my MM Studio Class 80, and this is built with Topre. So I converted this a few months ago, and it's awesome. Topre, it's a very quiet switch. We can dare say it's silent, but Topre is more so for its sound, its feel. It's very different from Cherry MX, and I really love its feel. It's very, very different. So my Class 80 is built with the Topre kit, and I have GMK 9009 on this board. So this is really cool. So this is a really cool board. I love this board. Just also a little demonstration too what this board is. Got the beeper, which is MM Studio left, and also the solenoid. So it's really cool. So MM Studio, that's kind of their gimmick with their boards. They put a beeper and a solenoid in it, but we're going to do it. So there's no soldering today. We're doing, again, Topre electrocapacitive. So the hot swap and the Cherry MX PCBs, whether it's solder or hot swap, are in these really cool yellow. So really, really nice board. I love this keyboard. It's amazing. It's built. We are going to be keeping the keycaps, but this Cherry MX assembly, I'm not going to desolder. I'm going to keep it together because I want to have a Cherry MX assembly for this board on hand. So that's what we're going to be doing. But we will be bringing these keycaps over. These are This is Damaki Fatal Danger, which is the Pulp Fiction themed keycap set. And that's part of this keycap set is what made this board take so long. So MM Studio, their Topre PCB supports ANSI and ISO, but the plate that I got from them was just a standard ANSI plate. And I asked them, do you have the ISO plate? And they said, we do not. You're going to have to convert our ANSI plate to ISO. And why do you say I want ISO? If you look at this keycap set, it's because of that enter. This keycap set that enter is absolutely amazing. And yes, it says exactly what you think it says. I'm not saying it here on stream, but you can read. But that enter is the reason why I wanted this board to be ISO, and that's why it took so long. So I got the plate files from MM Studio, and I sent it over to my friend Tom over at Hype Keyboards. Hype is going to be is a sponsor of helping make this board possible. So I sent it over to Tom, and I asked him, can you convert the ANSI plate file to ISO? And he said, yeah, I can do that. But he said, I'm waiting on stock to come in to make plates this big. And I said, I'm not in a rush to build this board. So it took about 2 months from when I sent the plate files over to Tom and when he converted them to when it was actually made. And then I've had this plate for I'd say about a week and a half, 2 weeks. But I've been doing a bunch of other builds. I had some client builds I had to take care of. And it's just been really busy. So I'm finally getting to this build now, which is going to be really cool. So I'm really excited to make this board Topre electrocapacitive, whatever the heck you want to call it. And we're going to kind of run through the parts. So this is the case. It's a really cool case. If you're not familiar with Topre or electrocapacitive keyboards, they're becoming more and more popular as time goes on, which is really cool because it's a really cool platform, really cool switch style. If you look at this PCB, it's unlike any type of PCB you would see either Cherry MX, Alps, or any other type of mechanical keyboard switch. It's Topre electrocapacitive very much is its own thing. It's its own thing, which is just kind of crazy and just kind of interesting, kind of seeing that particular just kind of plate in action. So this is really, really cool. So we also have the back here. We have a bunch of those holes. Those are going to be where our screws go in. So this is going to be a really, really cool opportunity to kind of work with this particular platform on this. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, so it's going to be a fun time, everybody. So yeah, so it's a good time, everybody. I know I should be chilling, but I wanted to get this build done. So it's going to be a fun time. So we'll put our PCB over to the side because we're going to have to do actually a lot of plate with the plate. The other thing too is looking at the electrocapacitive parts. So before we kind of look over the Topre parts we're going to be using, I actually want to take this board. I got to take the board apart to pull out the actual plate, because most of the work we're going to be doing is going to be with the plate. So this is, and we're going to kind of see what makes Topre just kind of a pain. So Topre is really cool, but it is a much more involved process compared to some of the other switch types we have, and also, which is going to be interesting. So we're going to start undoing these screws, and we're going to get it going, folks. So let's get it going. So we're going to unscrew that one, and we're just going to get it going, everybody. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer stream. I don't think it'll be long as some of the Alp streams that we do, but this is definitely going to be one of those longer streams because this Topre is an involved build process. In a different way to like what Alps are. So like Cherry MX, I can do those boards pretty quickly, but when we're doing like Alps or Topre, they're pretty involved builds, and this is a really big board with a lot of switches. So this is going to be a very involved process, and we'll kind of go through the process of how you build a Topre board because it is very different from Cherry MX or heck even Alps. So this is a hidden screw design. So we have 10 hidden screws that we got to take off, and then we'll kind of see the internal assembly of this board. So we'll kind of look at the MM Studio Class 0, 4, and 3. Fun thing about this, there's been a lot of demand. So they only made 200 of these. People have been kind of asking for MM Studio to do another run. MM Studio is currently delivering their Class 65 keyboard, which is that is a board I joined the group by for, and their next project is going to be their Class 100 full size, which is another project I do want to join. And then once they run the Class 100 and deliver that, the project after the Class 100 will be an R2 of the 0413, which is going to be really sick. So that's going to be awesome. So we're going top mount today, but we could do gasket if we wanted to. But you can see in here, we have our internal daughter board, so that has our solenoid, and that also has our buzzer, which is going to be around this side of the daughter board. So, but as you can look inside, there's this massive, massive brass weight, which gives us a lot of the heftiness and the chunkiness of this particular board. And also, just the aluminum case, even without the brass weight, just weighs a ton. This is a really, really just kind of heavy and very well built board. It's crazy. So it's a really cool board, and I absolutely love it. So we're going to be putting the case to the side because we're really not going to work with this until the very, very end. And oh my god, that's so freaking heavy. So now we have to undo the top mount screws, and then we'll be able to have our plate. And then we'll start mounting hardware and kind of going through the electrocapacitive parts that we're using, because I do call this Topre, but it uses the MM Studio uses the NIZ or NIZ electrocapacitive kit. So it's not a one-to-one copy of OEM Topre. NIZ is kind of there's slight modifications to it. So there's no real interchangeability with OEM Topre stuff and NIZ components. But the nice thing about NIZ, even though they're a little more proprietary than OEM Topre, it allows you to use like GMK keycaps. OEM Topre really doesn't allow you to do that without some serious modification. So and like my MM Studio, I'm a big GMK fan, so my MM Studio Class 80 has, again, GMK 9009, which goes great with that green colorway. Like 9009 is one of those kind of like classic and iconic keycap sets, and I absolutely am very happy to have a set of 9009. So it's one of my favorite keycap sets. So we're just getting these, we got to just undo these top mounts and move these washer, and then we'll have access to our plate. So this is going to be awesome. So it's going to be a really cool build, and I'm really happy with how this one's going to go. So this is going to be a really fun little build. I've been waiting to do this one for a good long while. So this is going to be really cool. All right, we have our plate, which is really good. And then we got that. So we put our top case to the side, and then here's our plate. So this plate was cut by Height Keyboards. As you can see, there are a bunch of these holes cut throughout the keyboard. One thing about Topre, essentially, you kind of sandwich everything together, and that's going to kind of hold everything in place by screwing and holding everything in place. And as we kind of go through the build, if you're not familiar with electrocapacitive or Topre, you're really going to kind of see why we have to sandwich everything together as we really kind of go through and progress through this build. So that's going to be really cool. So let's start going through our actual parts. So we'll pull out our electrocapacitive parts right here. So got a massive assortment of parts we got to use. So as you can see, we have a ton of parts. Look at that. So, oh, we got some more parts. So there we go. Look at all this. So yeah, we got a massive assortment of parts. So we'll kind of do a rundown of what the heck these parts are. So let me just kind of sort them, and we'll kind of go from there. So it's going to be our stabilizer kit. So those are going to be our domes. These are going to be our springs, and then there should be our screw hardware. So those are our big screws, and then we also have our standoffs, which we're going to have to mount. And then we have a bunch of our housings and our sliders. So we have a lot of stuff that has to go through. So we have these little housings. So those are what our sliders are going to insert into, and we're going to snap these sliders into the actual PCB. We have our sliders. So you see that little plus there? That's going to hold our keycap, and that's what we're going to actuate. Right here we have our springs. So we have springs, and we also have rubber domes. So which is going to be really interesting. As we kind of put this board together, you're going to see how all this kind of fits together. And then we have our mounting hardware right here. And then, of course, we have our stabilizers. We're going plate mount stabilizers for this particular board because that's what this board supports. We can't do PCB mount stabilizers, so it have to be plate mount. So this is a full kit included with the actual keyboard. And there's some particular sliders. I have to search through my pile to find the ones that are for stabilizers. There are specific sliders housings we got to find. So we'll dig those out in a second. But I think we're going to start off by putting our we're going to be putting our spacers on our PCB. We're going to screw those in. So let me figure out what screw size we got to use for these. So let's kind of get these out and kind of go from there. So kind of dump these screws, and we're just going to start screwing stuff in, folks. So we got to do these standoffs. They're going to help hold and screw everything together. So there we go. And that looks pretty good. Awesome. Awesome. And I think that looks good. Awesome. Cool. All right. Let's start doing this, everybody, and we're going to kind of go through. So we're going to get our standoffs, and we're just going to start screwing these in place. So we need a Phillips head screwdriver for this one. I'm going to get one of these smaller ones. See if that one is good. Don't want all those. I just want this one. See if I get one a little bit bigger than that. But yeah, this is again, Topre, you're going to see it's very involved. Like, I would not recommend, like, I mean, you can get it like an HHKB, like a built Topre board, but like if you want to build one yourself, I would not recommend this for a beginner. I mean, if you are a beginner and you want to go Topre, definitely take your time and be patient, because it's going to be, especially when we start getting the rubber domes and the springs in place, it's going to be, you're going to see just how patient you have to be to put this together. So we got to put all these little standoffs together. So we're just going to, cool. So as you can see, we're just going to literally screw in these standoffs. And that's going to be kind of part of our mounting solution we got to do. So there's a lot of standoffs. There's like a bajillion, there's a ton of screws and Topre builds. So it's going to be interesting how we kind of get this one together. So okay. Yeah, we got to put all these little standoffs in, so it's going to be good. So we got like a bajillion screws we got to do. So, and then once we get these standoffs, we'll put in our stabilizers. So But yeah, that's what we're going to do. So this is going to be a very slow process, but it's going to be fun. And again, the end result's going to be really worth it for Topre. So, or electric capacitive, whatever you want to call it. I use them interchangeably. I know the Topre purists out there are going to say, no, this is Niz isn't Topre. I'm like, you're not wrong, but I really don't care. So, we're just going to have fun with it, everybody. So, like I said, happy Sunday evening, everybody. We're a couple weeks out from Thanksgiving, so I hope everyone's been having a great November. And yeah, we're just kind of going through it. I just want to check something it's always like to check the Instagram chat, which is always fun, everybody. So it's nice. So yeah, everyone's kind of it's nice to admit if you're popping in on Instagram or you're popping in on Twitch. Welcome, everybody. This is going to be a little bit of a longer stream. So just looking for the right screws here because there's a ton of them we got to work with. So we have a metric crap load of screws we got to do. So we have a lot of these standoffs we got to do. Cool. So it's going to be a really good process, but it's going to be worth it because, again, the end result with this board is just going to be so sick. I mean, I loved my Class 80 was a very involved build. But when we finished that board, it was just so cool. Oh, crud. Give me a second. That screw didn't. So, like I said, this is good. We've got to be very patient as we kind of put stuff together. But yeah, it's going to be really nice once we get her done. So. Yeah, it's going good. So. Just slowly working our way across the board. Hold up. Gotta do these ones really quick. Cool. Coming along. So, it's gonna be fun, everybody. Doing this Topre build, so should be fun. Awesome. All right. Awesome. Hold up, there's a screw that's stuck in this standoff. Cool. Just working our way across. I'd say probably close to halfway. So that's pretty good. Getting these standoffs going. Working our way across, everybody. So again, I hope everyone's having a good evening, everybody. It's always fun. Yeah, we're just building keyboards here. We're just having fun. So going good. So we're just installing these standoffs on this particular board. And this is a very, very large board. So we're going to have a metric truckload of standoffs on this one. So So that's going good. Making sure I grab the right screws because you don't want to mix them up. Cool. Looking good, everybody. Now we're just getting it going. Look at that. Let's just see. Fun times, everybody. Fun times. Getting the little screws here and getting it going. So, making our way across this board. So, yeah, this board is definitely a test in patience for sure. So, well, like I said, the end result, absolutely worth it. So there's like a million little pieces in this board. But, like I said, definitely worth it. So you can see all of our little standoffs are coming together. So we're getting there, making our way across. Once we get the standoffs, we'll start working on our stabilizers and get those lubed, and then we'll start putting sliders in. Our housings. I always mix up topiary terminology. It's always fun, everybody. So, but yeah, folks, doing some Studio electrocapacitive today. So it's been pretty good. And also I had the opportunity to go to a Keeb Life mini meetup yesterday in Anaheim, California. So that was really nice. So it was at a brewery down in Anaheim, which is really cool. So it was nice doing a mini meet. There's about, I'd say, like 30 of us, and there's a good number of keyboards that were brought out. I got to try some boards that I had been interested in picking up, which were really cool. And it was just nice meeting members of the community. I posted some pictures of the boards and some of the people who were there. So definitely, if you'd like to see some of the stuff that was on display, definitely check out my Instagram post from earlier today. It was a really, really fun meet. It's always nice meeting members of the community in person and just kind of talking tech, the love of the hobby, and whatnot. So it's always nice connecting with people face to face. Cool. We're getting there, folks. We are getting there. So, really good time. There's a one right there. Cool. Almost there. We have a few more standoffs we got to do, which is nice. We are slowly but surely getting there. These standoffs are very tedious. This is a very tedious build, but very repetitive. But as long as you take your time and you're patient, this board will come together. So there's like a million different pieces of this board. So cool. Now we just gotta move on to our last four, and then we'll be good. Let's get the last four standoffs over here. Cool. Let's find the little screws that go into it. I need four more of these little screws. Yeah, so going good, everybody. But yeah, life is good. Life is good, everybody. So hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend and a wonderful Sunday evening as well. So yeah, we're going good, everybody. So yeah. 2 more standoffs, and then we have all of our standoffs and the plate installed. And we'll just check fitment of everything. And there we go. All right. So we got those installed. So we have all of our standoffs installed. There's a metric truckload of them there. So let me put these little pieces of hardware away. So we do want to save these in case we need spare parts in the future. So give me a second. We'll just put these little screws away. There's a bajillion little ones. So it's nice they give us extras. Come along. We're just putting the rest of these away. It's also if I do keyboard builds, we want to stay organized, everybody. So. Cool. All right. Put those to the side. Put that off to the side. Let's bring our PCB over, and we just want to line up everything. So just make sure everything lines up accordingly. So I want to make sure all my holes are lined up. Yeah, we are looking good. Yeah, just making sure everything lines up correctly. So. Cool. All right, let's put our PCB over to the side because we're not using that for a minute. Cool. Put those over. Now let's get our stabilizer parts out. I'm going to put my domes and my springs off to the side. I also want to kind of organize my domes and my sliders. So I'm just going to kind of start organizing these because there are a couple for the stabilizers I have to find. So we're going to sort through these parts right here. So let's just kind of sort through these and figure out what's what. Because there's a couple of these that have cutouts for the stabilizer wire. So we just want to make sure we have those particular parts. So we're just looking through these because I do remember from my class 80 that there were ones for the space, this actual space. There's one that doesn't have its ring on it. Okay, we'll start putting our sliders over here just to kind of keep them orderly and organized. You want to keep these little silence rings on. There's a whole process we got to do with these. So, and there's like 100-something keys on this, so we got a big boy board, so for sure. Just making sure we're doing everything right. So we're just making sure it all clicks in. Awesome. Just kind of organizing stuff. Those are good. got some sliders that got their silencing rings off, so we want to make sure we get those on, because those are going to be important for when we get everything together. There we go. Okay, I found our first stabilizer housing, so that's good. Stick that over there. Cool. Just coming along. We got to find these stabilizer housings because there are. There's another one. So they have those little lips there we want to be mindful of. There's another one. We have 8 stabilizers on here, so we need a total of 8 of these. There's one. Got 4. We need 4 more of those. Good times. All right, we're making progress, everybody. Nope. There's another one. Nope. Nope. Oop. Got a lot of parts we got to sort through, and just take our time, folks. This is not a build you want to rush. Nope. 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 Yep, there's another one. We need 2 more. 1 more. All right, 1 more. Looking for that last stabilizer housing, and then we should be good. Yep, there's one. So we'll see if there's any more. Sometimes they come with extras. Yep, we got an extra one. Yeah, they usually give us more than what we need, so awesome. So we'll put those stabilizer housings to the side because we're going to need those. Because those are going to be part of our stabilizer assembly. Awesome. So I'm going to push all these sliders off to the side. So we will be using those, but I want to start doing stabilizers now. So we are doing plate mount stabilizers on this. So let's pull this stabilizer kit out and we'll get these stabilizers lubricated. Come on. There we go. Again, we are going with a full complement of stabilizers, and these are rattly. Oh my god, yeah, these are gonna need a lot of lube, everybody. So we should have 8, 1, 7, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. We got our 8 stabilizers. I just want to double check that everything fits. We did have a custom plate made for this, so let's just double check everything slots in correctly. Yeah, we'll slide in. Let me slide in. Let me just check one of my 2Us really quick. Yeah, we're good. All right, cool. I'm just making sure. So we're gonna put our plate off to the side because we're basically gonna be focusing on stabs for the next good little bit. So let's start off with stabs, everybody. Just want to make sure I put everything in correctly. Cool. Start off with that one, and we'll just kind of work our way through. So we're using dielectric grease for these, again, stabilizer housings, and we're going to use 205G0 to lube the top ray components. So this is going to be super cool. So just kind of working through everybody, working through it. So, oh yeah. Nick's keys. Thanks for the desk mat, man. I got it from Chicken Man, which is pretty cool. So, like popping in on that one too. So, all right, folks. So let's get these going. Cool. So let's get these stabilizer housings lubed. Again, normally not a plate mount stabilizer guy, but for this particular build, just the way it's built, you gotta go plate mount. So for stuff, so like Cherry Mechs, most of the time I'm gonna do. Most of the time we're going to be doing PCB mount, but for this for the electric capacitive kits for Studio boards, you need to go plate mount stabilizers. That is just what you got to do. So just adding our lubricant to these particular sliders and stabilizers. So we're going to do our space bar first. Cool. Cool. So yeah, we're loving it, everybody. Cool. All right. Awesome. Got that in. Let's get our wire lubed up. That's a little much. There we go. All right, let's get this puppy clipped in. Cool. Got that side in. Cool. Get that one in. Cool. All right, let's get my plate really quick and let's just get this one mounted. And I want to put one of the sliders in too, just to double check everything with our fitment. There we go. Awesome. Stab's looking good. Stabs fit in there beautifully, and then let's put one of our sliders in. So our sliders have this little lip right here. So these sliders right here have a little lip right here. That's gonna protect the wire and kind of hold it in place. So that's what we're gonna just snap these puppies in. And there you go. Awesome. There you go. That looks good. So here we go. We got our first slider in there, folks. So I'll start doing our other ones. There we go. All right, let's get going. So, good times, everybody. So, this is going to be a good time, everybody, so. People are rating me? Why? I mean, okay, cool. Welcome, guys. I'm literally lubing stabilizers for a 0413. So, welcome, everybody. You're welcome. Welcome. Well, you're welcome to jump in, everybody. It's welcome fun, everybody. So, like I said, I'm just... I guess I'll say this since people are rating in. I'll give you this... I'll give you this line, everybody. I was listening to Black Simon's Group Buy Review stream the other day, and he said... This is the worst keyboard show on YouTube. I'm like, no, I am the worst keyboard show. Come on, guys. That's a title I want to hold, everybody. So I want to have the title. We are the worst keyboard show on the interwebs, everybody. So it's a fun time. But yeah, we're just having fun, everybody. Again, I'm building an in all seriousness, I'm just building an Studio Class 0413 with its electrocapacitive kit. So what's cool about this particular board is there was a limited run of about 200 units. Each one is numbered. My particular one, yeah. Oh, thanks, friends. Like I said, it's just I'm here to have fun. I'm just here to have fun again. But yeah, that's really cool. So it's really cool. This is a really good board. I really enjoy it. So normally I'm doing Alps, but again, we are doing electric capacitive / topray today. So I'm just lubing the sliders. We already got the. We already have the standoffs for the PCB mounted, which is pretty cool. So we're just lubing stabilizers, and then we're going to start mounting the sliders. And then once we have the sliders in, we'll start lubing sliders. So, but yeah, this is a really fun build. I have my Studio Class 80 up here, and that's going to be my... I had that converted to electrocapacitive earlier this year. So I'm a big fan of Studio. I think for the price, you can't really beat their boards. The Class 65 should be getting delivered very, very soon, which is really awesome. So a lot of exciting stuff coming from the folks over at Studio. Their next project, once they deliver the Class 65, is going to be the Class 100, which is going to be awesome, everybody. That's going to be a really cool board I'm excited for. So I definitely want... The Class 100 is definitely going to be a project I will join the group buy for. Now the 0413, this has actually been a really popular board from Studio. A lot of people are kind of bummed they missed the group buy on this particular board. Studio has announced that they are going to be doing an R2 of the 0413. But it's going to happen probably later in 2026 because their next project, which is for the first half of 2026, will be the Class 100. So once they do the Class 100 and they deliver that, then they'll do the 0413 R2, which will be really cool. So hopefully more people who want a Class 0413 will be able to get that board and make it part of their collection. So it's a really cool project. So yeah, this will, like, with the Class 65 coming in, I'll have 3 Studio boards in my collection. So I'm a big fan of their stuff. One thing about this, they are not one of my sponsors. I did pay my 2 Studio boards, and soon to be my 3rd one coming in. I paid with my own money. They did not send those to me. So just to kind of, I feel bad I have to say that, but it's the internet. We got to say that. So, but yeah, I've talked to the folks over at Studio, and they're good people. And I think for the price, for what you get in the price point, they kind of target with their boards. It's a no-brainer. Like the 0413 is like $350. It's 10 pounds of aluminum and brass, and supports Cherry MX, hot swap solder, and also electrocapacitive. I mean, come on, that's a good no-brainer. So, and it also came in Southpaw, which is really cool. So, for those of you who like Southpaw, you can be satisfied. So, I'm not a particular Southpaw guy, but I know it does have its kind of cult following with Southpaw. So, really kind of interesting in terms of what this board supports. But one thing that was kind of cool about this project, I really just find interesting that Studio really hasn't done with a lot of their other boards, is since this was such a limited run for Studio purposes, they numbered all of the 0413s in this R1. So I have number 33 of 200, which is really cool. So it's nice to kind of have a low serial number. Does that mean anything? No. Does it affect functionality? No. I just think it's cool. Nice little fun fact about the board when you look at the badge at the back of my case. So, and that's just really cool. And I have a bunch of extra PCBs. I have a ton of solder PCBs. I have a few extra EC PCBs. When they sold the extras for this board, which included the topray kits for this board, I picked up a topray kit and I picked up a bunch of PCBs because I love this board. And I've just kind of learned from past experiences that, yeah, you definitely want to have spare PCBs for boards, especially boards that use more proprietary, more kind of exotic layouts. So I just kind of learned that the hard way with Matrix Labs board. I still have, and I'm still searching for a PCB for. So Yeah, always get spare PCBs, everybody. Because yeah, if you break a PCB, or PCB gives out, sometimes it's a pain unless it uses like a H87 or H60. It's going to be a pain in the butt to find a PCB. So whenever I order boards or I pick up boards in the aftermarket, I always try to get extra PCBs for them. So I have I have a growing PCB collection that is as crazy as my keyboard collection. So just how it goes. So always have extras. Extra parts are essential. So that's what we're doing, folks. But yeah, we're having fun here. So we're going to get this board built. We're just lubing our stabilizers. So we've got a full complement of 8 stabilizers in this board. So once we get those all lubed up, then we'll start inserting our sliders and then lubing the sliders. So now one thing about the electrocapacitive kits for MM Studio, they use the NIS kits. Oh, yeah, sorry guys. I have my mod bot is kind of if you want to know why my mod is kind of crazy, I can send you that in DMs. But yeah, sorry, my mod's kind of weird. My auto mod is just, I've made it aggressive on purpose. So I don't want to state why my auto mod is so aggressive. But yeah, it's a fun time, folks. I really just enjoy working with these boards. But one thing about MM Studio, with their electrocapacitive kits, they use NIS components. Now, I know some of the Topre purists, the people who are really, really hardcore into like custom Topre or like just the Topre scene, kind of look down upon NIS. I don't have a problem with NIS. I personally don't. I think it's just a different variation of the electrocapacitive system that Topre kind of developed and created back in the day. So NIS is fine. I don't hate it. I know there are some people who are very anti-NIS components, but it's nice because like NIS allows you to use. It's kind of like NIS allows you to use like proper GMK, which is nice. So I do like that. But I also have a couple of HHKBs where I can use OEM components, which I really. So it's like I can have the best of both worlds. So which is really nice. So that's a really kind of good thing with regards to these components. Again, there's not going to be real much interchangeability if you want to put like OEM Topre stuff, because NIS is kind of its own. They kind of have their own specs with stuff, and I know some people within like who are kind of deep into Topre really don't like that. So, but yeah, it's fine. It's just another kind of variation on like Topre, which is fine. So, but yeah, this is a really cool board. I love it, and if you definitely can track down, if you think the MM Studio 041 class, the MM Studio Class 0413 is cool. Definitely try and pick one up. If you ever see one on Mech Market, pick it up because it's just such a cool board. And it's just chunky and it's awesome. And I love it. And as soon as I saw it way back when, I knew I had to have it. Because the group buy ran in like early 2024. So like spring of, I think it was like Q1, Q2 of 2024 it ran. So almost 2 years ago, which is kind of crazy. It's like a year and a half ago the group buy ran, and they delivered it in like Q3 of 2024. So it was the one nice thing with MM Studio, their turnaround for group buys is pretty quick, and they have a pretty good track record, which is really nice. So like MM Studio in terms of like group buys, really like them, and again their crew over there is pretty nice. So, and like I said, like I do like their industrial design, their sec, because again like I'm into Alps, I'm into the retro scene. There are a few people on the MM Studio Discord, including myself, who keep trying to bug them to put to make Alps their solder PCBs Alps compatible. For some reason, MM Studio doesn't want to do that, but like you can make for not much more money, you can make your solder PCB like Cherry MX and Alps compatible for not much more money. I know the old Heine PCBs used to do that, which is really cool. So, also RIP Heine. Hope he comes back in the hobby. He comes and then he goes, and then he comes and then he goes. So, Heine, we miss you. Like, please come back from your millionth hiatus in the hobby. So, which is unfortunate because Heine PCs are good. Heine PCBs are absolutely goated. So, there we go, friends. So, but yeah, it's gonna be a fun time, everybody. So, we're just install. Oh, that didn't go in right. And that's weird. There we go. Just installing these plate mount stabs on this particular board, and then we'll get them going. So, all right. And also another thing about this board, we're going ISO. So this will probably be one of the few ISO EC0413s. So, and when you see the keycaps that I'm going to put on it, you're going to see why we went ISO on this one. Because it's absolutely, the reasoning for it is absolutely amazing. ISO sucks. I am very anti-ISO. I mean, go ANSI. I don't know why our folks in England think they have to be special and whatnot, but ISO is bad. That's just my opinion, and you can fight me for it, but ISO is fun. I mean, for this board, it's fine. This is literally my only ISO board I have in my collection. So, just snapping these stabilizers in. Let's put this housing in to kind of hold that wire in. And we're getting it going. Oop. This is going to be a tight fit. There we go. Awesome. So we got that ISO in there. Look at that, everybody. So looking good. So yeah, we're going to have, this is going to be definitely a cool build. So we got halfway done with stabs. So that's pretty cool. So just getting it going. But yeah, I like it. Oh, so you want to see my ISO enter? I'll show you why. So why we're doing this. So I'll show you this is my Cherry MX assembly that I ripped out of the board. So this is Domaki Fatal Danger. This is themed to the movie Pulp Fiction. I absolutely love Pulp Fiction. When I saw this keycap set like 2 years ago, I'm like, oh my god, I need that. So I'm normally a GMK snob, but sometimes I'll do themed builds with the key if there's a fun keycap set that's really cool. But that's why. That's why we're doing ISO. The ANSI enter does not say that. I'm not saying that on stream because I don't want Twitch and social media platforms to get mad at me. But yes, it says exactly what you think it says. So yes, that's what Samuel L. Jackson's wallet says in the movie. So it's amazing. But yeah, the novelties on this set are just absolutely hilarious. I mean, you have the Bible verse that Samuel L. Jackson says in the film. You have the ball gag from later in the film. Of course, you have the hypodermic needle. You have the iconic pistols that the characters use. And, of course, you have silhouettes of our characters, which are really cool. So, really, really cool board. Really, really cool keycap set. So, and that's why the ISO took forever. Because the reason this board, I got the EC parts for this board back in, like, August. But the EC plate that MM Studio sells was ANSI only. And I reached out to the MM Studio crew. I said, like, hey, do you guys have an ISO EC plate? And they said, we don't. You're going to have to convert our ANSI plate. So I reached out to Hype Keyboards, who makes all my plates. And I asked Tom, can you convert this board? So I reached out to Tom over at Hype Keyboards. And I said, like, hey, man, can you convert this ANSI EC plate file? And he said, yeah, I can do it. So Tom converted it. And then Tom said, it's going to be a while before I can make your plate, because I had a bunch of other plates he needed to make for me. And it took about 2 months for me to get my plates from Tom. And not that because his turnaround is bad, is Tom was waiting on new material to make plates that big. So it took about 2 months because Tom was waiting on new stock so we can make it up, so we can make the plates. So I got a big order like last week of like 10 different plates, which included this one and a bunch of Alps plates. So I have the Hype Keyboards logo on here because Tom actually agreed to be one of the sponsors for me, which is kind of cool. So it's a really big honor to kind of have that, because I do a lot of custom work, especially with Alps, and whenever you see me working with a custom plate, it's going to be made by Hype Keyboards. So if you ever need plate work done, definitely consider Hype Keyboards. Their turnaround is really quick, because there's been other plate makers I've used in the past, and it would take them like legitimately 3 months to get my plate. I'm like, it does not take you this long to make a freaking plate. So like Tom, like I've had one time I ordered a plate from Tom at Hype Keyboards. I ordered it in the morning. He had it mailed by the end of the day. So like, especially if he doesn't have a big backlog when you place an order, you're going to get your plates relatively quickly. So Tom's located in Canada. And even with the current crazy political situation here in the United States, like I get my stuff pretty easily tariff free. So that's just one thing to note too. If you're like an American, Tom has a way of getting your stuff here where you won't pay tariffs. And again, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, everybody. So just as an FYI with that. So good times. But yeah, so this is a really cool board, and I'm really excited to get this one going. I've been waiting on this board for a while. So I've had the EC parts, and I've been really looking forward to putting this board together. And I was talking to the MM Studio folks because I have the Class 65 coming, and I also want to join their group buy, which is going to happen probably Q1, Q2 of next year for their full size, which is the Class 100. And I asked them, like, hey, are you guys going to do, like, Topre EC kits for the Class 65, the Class 100? And the MM Studio guys said, as of right now, no. Because one thing about MM Studio with their the boards that do support EC, they only make a limited amount of the EC PCBs and, like, the EC kits. So because it's just not as popular. Again, MM Studio, their most popular board like version of their boards are going to be their Cherry MX boards. So I think that's what's going to make a majority of the sales. So I get that like they either so if they do Topre or EC on a board, they're going to make a very small number of kits in comparison to like the Cherry MX parts for the boards. So like when I got my Topre kit for this board, it was part of the 0413 extra sale that happened over the summer. And they had a very, very limited number of the EC kits. So like I knew when the drop happened, I wanted to jump on it and get the kit and the additional extra parts I needed for my 0413 very quickly. Because my priority was getting the Topre stuff. So I got the Topre kit, I got 2 EC PCBs, I got 2 more soldered Cherry MX PCBs, and I got some other like smaller parts for the board. So because this is a board I plan to keep for a very long time and never sell. So I want to make sure that this board is running for many, many years to come. So and that's all we're doing. That came undone. No. Came out of the clips. No. All right, let's relieve that. Oops. I'm like, bro. Came undone. All right. There we go. Let's see. There we go. Let's put the wires in here. And then we'll just push these ones down. There we go. Awesome. And then we'll get one of those housings with the stabilizers. Perfect. Let's push those housings in. There we go. Awesome. So we just need to do our numpad and then we'll be done with our stabs, which is really nice. So yeah, those of you who popped in, thank you. It's always fun. Again, like I said, I'm trying to steal the title from Black Simon of worst keyboard show either on Twitch or YouTube. So welcome. If you want to help me make it the worst to take the title from Black Simon, please help me get to that achievement of stealing the title of worst keyboard show on the internet. So that's what we're kind of going for, folks. So. But yeah, it's a good time, everybody. So we're almost there. We're on our number pad, so we got our last 3 stabs, and then we'll start snapping in our housings, and then we'll start lubing those puppies, and then we'll move on to the other parts. So this is like I said, a very involved build. I say like Topre, I think everyone should get a chance, and I think the one exciting thing with Topre, we have the Dynacap project coming from Clever and OmniType. So I was talking with Clever, and they're hoping to try and have it drop by the end of the year. Oh God, Blackfin. Oh God, I'm gonna screen grab that comment and send it to Black. I'm gonna text that to Black Simon. I'm like, yo, Black Simon. I'm trying to steal your title of worst keyboard show on the internet. So let's do it. So, like I said, I don't claim to be like. If you want someone who's more polished, more professional, please go find more interesting people like Frank or like Teja or Keyboard. Like I said, I'm just a guy. I don't do this for money. I do this because it's fun. So, like I said, I just do it because it's fun. And I do this. I like at the end of the day, like I do like client commissions for stuff like Alp, especially on the Alp side, like whether it be like putting Alps in modern keyboards or doing vintage restorations. Like it's fine. Like it's fun doing like client commissions where like I'm getting paid to do that stuff. But like in terms of like just putting the stuff I do put out on like YouTube or Twitch, I just do it because it's fun. I just want to share it with the community, and if I can help inspire someone to like build their own keyboard, like, or heck, even get into Alps or something crazy like Topre, like that's kind of the intention. Like, I'm just here to give information, just help educate people and show them like, hey, this part of the this part of the hobby is really cool, and there's more than just Cherry MX. Like that's the thing. I think I've found a cool little niche with Alps, and getting people's attention with Alps. Like I kind of joke with people, like if you see Alps on like Reddit or Discord or in like keyboard space, it's most likely me. I don't mean that as a bragging, but there's not a lot of us in terms of Alps fans, so we're very small in number, which is really nice. So it's really good. So I'm really good, but yeah, no, but also too with Topre and just EC stuff like Dynacap is going to be really exciting. I have a couple boards that I have not built because I want to put Dynacap in them, and the Dynacap project is just so cool. So the one thing I do respect and appreciate with Clever and the guys over at OmniType is they're taking their time. Yeah. Yeah, and again, like I said, like I tell people too, like again, I'm also a school. I'm like my day job. I'm a middle school teacher, and like I see like it's just common with like young people and like kids. Like a lot of them want to get into like content creation, but I think a lot of young people have the wrong mindset. My advice, if you want to do content creation, you don't need a crazy expensive equipment. Like start off with what you can get, and then do it because it's fun. Like, don't do it because, oh, I want to become the next, like, big streamer. I want to become the next big YouTuber or, like, blow up on social media. Like, don't do it. Like, you're not going to have fun. You'll be very disappointed. But, like, I tell people, like, just start posting and just have fun and just do it because it's fun. Like, do it in your free time. And if you just kind of stay consistent and you bring something new and you find a cool niche, like, you can grow an audience over time. And then over time, like, you'll maybe eventually get to a point where you can get to monetization. But I just tell people, like, I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it because it's fun. Like, at the end of the day, like I said, like, my whole streaming setup is, like, what, like, a couple $100? Like, I got a couple, like, Logitech cameras and, like, a $40 mic. I'm chilling. Like, again, I'm not, like, doing, like, these crazy high-end like, high-fidelity reviews, like, B-rolls and, like, an editing team behind me. It's just me. I'm just a guy. And like again, if you look at my VODs on YouTube, I don't even edit them. I literally just download the raw entire stream and I upload it to YouTube. Like I'm not a video editor. I'm not doing all that fancy B-roll, all that stuff, and I'm also not in a position where I'm gonna be pouring like thousands and thousands of dollars into like a video, like a videography setup. Like I'm cool with just how I do it and just having fun with it at the end of the day. So. And I think that's the right mindset to have. And a lot of people I've talked to, like keyboard meets or people who have been in content creation, like say like that's the right mindset to have with it. Because like I said, like I have some like people who are content creators that I genuinely love and who are genuinely big in like the spaces in which they occupy. But a lot of them said like they had little to no audience the first maybe couple of years they were doing it. So and they did it for fun. And again, also very, very few people can turn this into a full-time gig. And also some of my like students at work have asked like, hey, would you do this full-time if the opportunity arose? And I said, absolutely not. I like my day job. I like being a teacher in my day job. I like working with young people. I like working with kids. And I would not give that up. It's a lot of work some days, but I genuinely enjoy it. So I want to keep this as a hobby and keep it fun. And like I said, I still do client commissions for like Alps and Alps restorations and heck, even someone wanted to do a Cherry MX build with me, like custom commission, I'll do it. I'm like, I'd be happy to do it for you. But like I said, like those are cool, but I feel like doing like client commission builds is different from like trying to get big on like social media and be monetized and whatnot. So, because I know a lot of people who aren't big in the social media space who do like client commission builds and whatnot. So, yeah, but definitely a fun time. But yeah, so. But yeah, it's funny. I had a client, my friend Careless, who's like the expert when it comes to like modern Alps conversions. He also does like custom client commission builds, but his client commission calendar is just kind of overbooked. So he reached out to me and said, hey man, I have this international client who's looking for a custom Alps build and I don't have room in their calendar. Would you want to take on their project? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So Careless shared my information with them and I've been talking with this client and, we were kind of talking out and hammering out ideas exactly what they're looking for, what they want. So we're going to end up doing like a frog TKL for this person, which is going to be really, really cool. And I'm really excited for this project we're going to do for this client. And it's also been nice doing like keyboard build projects for people who are outside of the United States because I'm located in the United States. So it's really nice to kind of do some work for international clients. Like last week I mailed off those 2 key colts I did, those were for an international client over in Europe. I've done stuff for people. I did stuff for a client over in Singapore. I actually have 2 vintage Alps boards that a client in Japan sent me. So it's been really nice. So it's really nice been kind of being able to do like custom work and custom stuff for people who are in other parts of the world. So I think that's just it's been a really cool opportunity to be able to do that stuff. So I'm really fortunate that like, the custom work I've been doing for people is getting, so this is not an NCR80. What's up, Blue Keeps? So this particular board is my Studio Class 80. So this is actually built with the same EC kit or Topre kit that we're building the Studio Class 0413. So my Class 80 is, let me unplug it so I don't make my OBS go all crazy, but it's Topre. So, and it has GMK 9009, and we also have the big ass enter on it because I love big ass enters. So, again, Topre, I mean, for lack of a better term, you could get Topre because of its feel. Yeah. Oh, and I do want an NCR80. I have a client I'll probably be building an NCR80 for in the future. They're just they're probably reaching out to me I think they said January. They'll probably reach out and we'll do an NCR80 build for them. So that'll be really cool. But yeah, it's a cool board I definitely want to build in. And again, like I said, we're working over the next, I see like before the end of the year, we'll probably do our first giveaway on here too of an Alps build, which will be really nice. So we will be doing an Alps build giveaway. It's custom built by me. So like I said, like one thing about the custom work I do, it's not cheap. I'm pretty transparent. Like I essentially just charge cost of parts and then a commission fee. And depending on how much work the build is, that's going to kind of determine the commission fee, because Alps are very much a labor of love. So when we give away a custom Alps build, it's going to be a very, like in terms of the time that goes into it, it's going to be a very expensive board. So it'll be really, really cool when we do that giveaway. Yeah, so I'll show you. I'll show you the two boards they mailed to me. So I had a client reach out to me on Instagram. They saw my stuff on Reddit, so they reached out on Instagram. So they sent me two Apple M0115s. So this guy was really cool. So these have both of these. This has orange Alps. So here's one of them, and here's the second one that the client sent to me. So we're going to be doing a full-blown restoration. I'm kind of have a backlog, so I told the client it'll probably be after the new year in terms of probably when these get done. So, but these have low serial numbers. They're in the 300,000s, so which is really cool. But they did come from Japan, which is really nice. So I'm really excited to get these restored and cleaned up for the client, which is going to be really cool. So yeah, I love it. So it's really cool. So I love Apple M0115s. They're awesome. I mean, there's a reason I have two of them in my personal collection. My Salmon M0115, all the parts are restored except for the switches. So I'll probably be restoring my Salmons. For my Salmon M0115 probably later this week, which will be really cool. So I'll probably get that board my Salmon M0115 put back together in the next couple of weeks. So we have there's a whole backlog of like stuff I got to do. I got two Omni keys I got to build. I got the Apple one. So, okay, so this board is kind of weird. So I say Toupret electrocapacitive. One thing about MM Studio boards, they don't use OEM Toupret parts. The MM Studio boards use NIZ components, so N-I-Z electrocapacitive components. NIZ is, I say, more Toupret inspired. It's not a one-to-one clone of original Toupret parts. And also, just the way NIZ designs their stuff, there's pretty much no interchangeability with like domes and stuff like that. So, again, Toupret purists kind of hate on NIZ. I personally don't care, and I don't hate it. I have OEM Toupret. I have a couple of HHKBs that are I have them because I want OEM Toupret. So like NIZ doesn't bother me. I know certain purists kind of hate on NIZ components. I think they're fine. I mean, I think more options in electrocapacitive is better, whether it be NIZ, OEM Toupret, and hopefully soon Dynacap. So, but I like NIZ because you have proper Cherry MX keycap compatibility. There's no interference. Like my GMK set, there's no issues using GMK on my Class 80. So that's the one nice thing about it. So I really, really like that I can utilize, again, just proper Cherry MX keycaps. So, and again, the NIZ components are fine. And again, there's the dome weights are about 48 grams with the domes and the springs. So I'd say they're probably on like the more like just kind of standard weighting. They're not too heavy or too light, which is really nice. So yeah, it's a really good board though. So I'm really excited for this board. I've been waiting on this to build this board out for a while. So I got the board in the original group buy that ran early 2024 and then it ran Q2 of 2024. And then it delivered Q3 of 2024. And then they ran extras of this board and also extra parts over this past summer. And they had a limited amount of Toupret kits. So I picked up one and a bunch of extra PCBs and other parts for this board, which is really cool. So so there aren't that many like Toupret like 0413s. And I'm probably the only person who has an ISO Toupret 0413. Because I had to have this plate custom built and custom cut. Because if you buy the EC plate from MM Studio, they only have the ANSI plates and they only have the ANSI plate files. So I reached out when I knew I wanted to build this ISO. I reached out to MM Studio's crew and I said like, hey, like, do you guys have like an ISO plate file? And they said, we do not. You're gonna have to convert the one Yeah, I think it's fine. Niz is fine. I think, and again, if you want OEM Topre, there's nothing stopping you from using OEM Topre. Like, the thing is with this board, this plate could support OEM Topre. I mean, this PCB could support OEM Topre. You would just have to have your own custom plate made. You'd have to design your own custom plate. But like, this board could take OEM Topre. It would just require like a full redesign of the actual PCB. I mean, sorry, the actual plate. But yeah. So there we go. We got all of our stabilizers in there. We had to do 8. But yeah, so it's fine. So yeah, no, Niz is fine. I don't hate Niz. Again, I know there are purists within the Topre community that really don't like their stuff. But like, I personally don't care. I don't care enough for it to matter, realistically. So, yeah, and the silent sliders are nice too. So, all right, we're going to start. We're just going to top off a little bit more lube in our stabs really quick, and then we're gonna get going. I'm just putting this extra stabilizer housing in there. Cool. All right, we'll start snapping stuff in. So let's just kind of flip this around. Let me just wipe off any additional stuff on here. So just gonna wipe off any additional lube on my plate. So, but yeah, this is a really cool board. And again, huge thanks. Again, Tom over at Head Keyboards, one of the sponsors for us, is the one who made this plate for us. So it took about 2 months to get the plate. Not that Tom's lead time was 2 months. It was he was waiting on new material to make plates this big. So, and I had a massive order of plates with him. I had like 10 plates I had to order through him. So, yeah, it was definitely a big boy order. So, and this is a big boy plate. So, yeah, we're just topping off some lube in here. Like I said, I'm normally not an ISO person, but for this board, it has to be ISO. And it's because of the keycaps that I'm using. So I'll show the keycap set in a second. Just want to top off my stabs. Cool. Put my dielectric grease away because the lube going forward is going to be some other stuff. So 205G0. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much Topre. I think it's really hard, and I think that's why Dynacap is so exciting. Now, again, to be fair to Dynacap and what Clever is doing, they also are not making Dynacap a one-to-one clone or reproduction of OEM Topre. To be fair to Clever, the purpose of Dynacap was to offer full... it was to bring electrocapacitive keyboards to the masses and also have full Cherry MX compatibility, specifically with GMK. So that was kind of the intention of Dynacap, not to really be a Topre clone. Again, it really was to bring, again, EC to the masses. And I think they're going to be really successful. I think a lot more people are going to get into electrocapacitive keyboards because of Dynacap. And I think that's a good thing. Because one of the things I preach within this hobby is the more people we have, the better. Like, I want this hobby to be all facets of it to be as accessible as possible. Yeah, I think Niz is definitely worth it. I mean, especially if you can find an MM Studio board that has its EC kit. Like, I think it's definitely worth a pickup for sure. Like, again, if you can get like a Class 80 or like a Class 60 with the EC kit, or hell, if you can find someone who wants to sell their 0413 Topre kit, like, definitely pick it up. I think it's definitely worth your time to just give it a try. But like I said, this is Topre inspired. This is not meant to be like a one-to-one recreation of Topre. So that's what I kind of say with the MM Studio stuff. And again, that is not a bad thing. I know some people who are very purist and maybe strong opinionated may say that's a bad thing, but this is not a bad thing. So, all right, now we're going to start snapping in our sliders, folks. And then once we get the sliders snapped in, we'll start lubing our sliders. There we go, friends. Look at that. Sorry, I mean, not the sliders, the housing. So, there we go. So, let's figure out how we want to orient these puppies. I think I'm going to go... Yeah, I think we're going to go that way. Yeah, we're going to orient him that away. Yeah. All right. Start snapping these puppies in. Cool. We got a lot of housings. We got like 100-something housings we got to snap in. So it's going to take some time. But yeah, there's like a bajillion pieces in this board. So definitely taking our time with this one. So yeah, it's a good time. So yeah, now we've gotten to the part where we're inserting our sliders, and we just want to make sure that they properly snap in. So I also want my OCD. I want to make sure I put them all in the same orientation. Cool. And we'll start getting to it. So awesome. Yeah, so we're just getting it going. But yeah, this is a really fun board and a really fun build. And I can't wait. And probably the next keyboard meetup I go to, I'm definitely taking this board out because it's nice to show people some electrocapacitive stuff. I mean, I always take Alps out for sure. But like, I like being the guy who just doesn't bring Cherry MX, and I just bring Alps and Topre out. And I'm that guy at meets. So yeah, I'm the guy at keyboard meets who doesn't bring any Cherry MX stuff out. Because you can come over to the Alps and Topre site. We have cookies. Come on. You gotta be crapping me. Glad I caught that. One of my stab wires isn't properly seated. We're gonna fix that in a second. So fun times, everybody. Fun times. All right, get that going in a second. We'll fix that. All right. You can kind of see our sliders are getting in there. So got our numpad filled in, which is really nice. All right, let's fix this. All right, let's fix this stabilizer really quick. Oh, I gotta snap it out. There we go. Cool. Yeah, that's always fun. Okay, that wire did not get in there correctly. Give me a second. Cool. All right, there we go. Now we're properly seated, everybody. Yeah, we're good. We happy. All right. All right, let's do our F row now. My F column, it's not a row. Cool. Cool. So we're just snapping in our sliders, and then we'll go from there, folks. So, like I said, this is a very involved build, folks. And cool. Awesome. Just snapping all these puppies in. Cool. I got some good time on this one today. All right. So we got our F column. Let's do our bottom spacebar row. And we're going wing keyless on this puppy. So I'll have to put a Windows key slider in there. Cool. And then also we're going to do step caps lock on this one. So we're going to push that all the way over to the side. It's pretty good, but yeah, definitely cannot wait to get this board built. And again, I also have another topiary build I'll show off in a second, which we built previously. So now we're just doing our number row, and then we'll move on to our alpha. So this is going pretty quick. So once we get this part in, we got to do the tedious part of lubing all these housings, because you definitely want to lube your topiary housings. Trust me, you will thank me later. Looking good. So, again, most of our work is on this plate assembly. Awesome. But yeah, it's going good, everybody. But yeah, thank you for those of you who have popped in, whether you've been here since the beginning or you just popped in and done some just now. So it's all good. We're here to have fun, everybody. Cool. It's coming together, folks. So, coming together for sure. Faux show. Nice. Coming along, everybody. So this is pretty good. Again, there's no soldering today, folks, so it's a lot of parts that we got to do for this. So topiary, it's a very involved process, but once we get it done, we're pretty good, actually. Cool. Come on up, there we go. Just want to check my. All right, getting it going, friends. Good times. All right. Cool. 2 more rows of sliders, and then we'll be almost there, friends. Almost there. Yeah. Cool. Almost there. Yeah, definitely. Again, this is very different from what I normally do, friends. So, normally doing Alps on here, but we're doing topiary today. All right, last row, everybody, and then we can start lubing. All right, there we go. All right. All right, almost there. Cool, 2 more. And we'll have all of our housings in here. Holy cow. Cool. Let's put these extra housings away. Cool. All right, look at that. Look at all those housings we got to do. Let me just put it there so you can see them better. There we go. So, got all of our housings, got all of our stabilizers in there, which is pretty cool. So, looking pretty good so far. We also have our standoffs. So, we have our standoffs, we have our stabilizers, and we have our housings. Now, what we're going to do next is we are going to start lubing all the housing. There's little slider rails here. So these are going to be our sliders, and these are we're going to go inside the housings that the keycaps are going to connect to. So there are little rails in here that we are going to lubricate with a very thin layer of a lubricant called 205G0. So we'll put a little in the corner, in each corner of these for our rail. So that's what we're going to. Oh, come on, why isn't it opening up? Come on. There we go. We got our 205G0. We're going to start adding lube. There's like 100 of these, so we got to do a lot. So, yeah, this is now the tedious and fun process of lubing. So, yeah, this is going to take a minute. So, like I said, we're going to be here a bit. So, this is the part that's probably going to take the longest. Got to lube all these sliders. So, again, for this board, most of the work is on the actual plate. So, that's what we're doing. But this is going to definitely improve the experience with this board, for sure. Cool. All right, let's keep it going. Yeah, so we're just lubing these puppies up, everybody. We're lubing it up. Cool. Good times. Alright. Almost done with the numpad, which is nice. Okay, now last one on the numpad. Cool. Alright, so that one's good. Numpad's good. Let's move on over to our main cluster over here. Yeah, so this is going good. Cool. Cool. Just kind of moving along, folks. Cool. Cool. Got that top alpha row. I'm going to do my F column here. So it's a little bit of a tedious process, but it's going to be worth it. It's going to make these just a lot smoother and more pleasant to type on. So whenever I do topre, I always want to lube the slider rails. So cool. All right, got that F column done. I'm going to do our modifiers really quick. Cool. Let's do that bottom row. Then we'll do our alphas. Cool. Come along. Cool. Almost done. So do our ISO enter. Cool. All right, we just got to do our alphas, and then we should be good. And then we'll start putting in sliders and doing domes, which is going to be sick. I do the domes and the springs. So, God, coming along, folks. So this is just a lesson in patience for sure. Yeah, Topiary build, I use a lot of 25G0. So we're coming along. Just doing our alpha cluster. Does really nice. So we're getting it going, friends. Yep. We got 2 more rows now. We're slowly but surely getting there, folks. Cool. Yeah, this is the type of build, once it's built, I never want to take it apart again. Because it's so involved. So cool. Alright, almost there. Cool. Almost to that last row. Cool. One more rough hooks, and then we'll start putting in our sliders. Coming along, last row. Again, this is a very involved build, folks. Again, we're not doing cherry mix. Three more sliders. Last one, everybody. Cool. All right. So, done with 205G0 for the moment. So I'll put that to the side, put those. Cool. Now, what we're gonna have to do, I'm gonna go grab a couple of my GMK boxes because we're gonna need to put this thing up off its elevator. Give me a second, I'll show you why. Grab a couple. Let's grab these two. Cool. Alright. No, we're not using GMK. We just need to grab a couple of GMK boxes because once we start putting in the domes, that's where things are going to get weird. So, all right, let's put in our sliders, everybody. Let's get that going. So, start putting in sliders. So, just going to line them up with the rails and start putting them in, everybody. So, that one's missing a silencing ring. That one's missing a silencing ring. Fun. And then we'll start getting our rubber domes and then our springs. And then we'll move on to the PCB. Getting our sliders in here. All right. Start putting them in there. Let's get the ISO in there. There we go. So, yeah, we're just getting these sliders installed, everybody. These are what are going to hold our keycaps to everything. Let's get these sounds rings on here. Perfect. Let's get our F column. That slider's not in there correctly. There we go. Ah! Bro. Get in there. There we go. Let's put our modifiers over here. Cool. Now we just gotta do our main numbers and alphas. Like I said, there are a metric crap load of parts on this board. So, it's fun times, everybody. All right. Oh, no. There we go. There are a lot of parts. Oh, that one didn't come in right. Dude, Topre is so good. I mean, yeah, Topre electrocapacitive, or whatever the heck you could call it, it's so good. I love it. And I'm glad that Dynacap is going to make Topre kind of available and accessible to like so many more people, which is going to be freaking awesome. So I'm really excited for. I cannot express how excited I am for Dynacap, because that's gonna be really cool. And who knows? Maybe in the future, Clever can make a Dynacap kit for this particular board, which would be super sick. So who knows? I may pitch it to Clever. You never know. So getting that. Last row, and then we're going to start doing our rubber domes. So, really good. Yeah. Cool. Last 4. All right, let's put these extra sliders over here in my baggie of extra parts. We're making progress, everybody. Hold up. What's that?
When the frick did we get gelatos?
I don't know. Go away. Sorry. Someone had a question. I'm like, bro, I don't have time for that right now. All right. We got those. Cool. So now what we're going to do, I got a couple of GMK boxes, because we're going to need those for our next step. Because we're going to start putting in the dome. So we got GMK Cubed, which is going to be is going to hold stuff. And then we got GMK Fuji. So we literally just have to have... All right, let's see if we can do this. Yo. There we go. It's literally just going to hold it all in place. Actually, I might have it go this way. Let me see. Give me a second. We might go this way just because those clips are going to make it a little bit easier. So, yeah, we're going to go that way. All right, cool. We're going to do that. All right, I think I might move the Class 80 just to make things a little bit easier. So, Class 80, you're going away. All right, let's pick this puppy up. Let's put her to the side. There we go. All right, that's a lot better. So, all right, we got to do rubber domes. So when you're working with Topre, you got rubber domes. I don't think I have scissors, so I'll have to probably cut a couple of these. So that's our main one. It's going to go in our main cluster. So let's stick this where it goes. Let's see where I can get the most amount of coverage on this one. There we go. Cool. All right, that's most of the coverage, and then we're going to have to cut a bunch. I don't have scissors in here. Oops, okay. I'll be right back. I'm going to grab a set of scissors, everybody. And we're going to... All right, I'm back, everybody. I got to grab some scissors. Yeah. I mean, I have a metric craft. I have like 40 GMK sets in my collection. So these are 2 that just aren't being used. So we're literally just using... These are very expensive boxes that I'm using to hold up this GMK. I mean, to hold up this thing. So now let's get our domes. Let's get the rest of our domes out. And we're going to have to start cutting. So let's see where we can kind of... See where we can get away with it. Okay, yeah. Cool. So that one. Yeah, so we're just getting... I'll see if I can use as many of these big strips as possible. And then... Yeah, and then we'll start cutting individual ones. See if I can cut these 2 ones. I agree with you, but this board is built for... I have this board in mind for this like Pulp Fiction keycap set, so... That is my intention with it. Alright, I got the F cluster done. Yeah, this is where things get like very fragile. And this is the part that's like very frustrating. Like... Yeah, doing like topiary, custom topiary like this, you definitely takes a lot of patience, everybody. We're just trying to get let's get the next set of domes out. Come on, there you go. And we just got to cut them into little individual slices. All right. And we just got to make sure they all kind of somewhat line up. Cool. Cool. So it's going good. Cool. Cool. Coming along, folks. And we're just cutting our little domies. Cool. Cool. Okay, I'm going to have to redo these ones. Give me a second. It's all good. Cool. So crazy. All right, let's just cut these into twos. There we go. Cool. F column is good. Let's just do our numpad. All right. Almost have all of our domes in here. Cool. All right, last couple of domes. Those are our spares. We'll stick those in the baggie. Look at that. Yeah, got all those. Now I gotta get all of our stinking domes out. We're getting close, folks. Getting close. Let's dump all of our little springies out. There's a lot of them. We gotta separate all these little buggers. It's always fun. Alright, done with scissors. Chuck those to the side. Alright, that one's not coming apart. Yeah, now we're putting in our little springs here, so. This is also anxiety inducing because if I breathe too hard or like this whole thing falls off the boxes, then I gotta restart all this, which is, I've had that happen to me before. It's not fun. Alright, got that one. Let's do our mods. Alright. So yeah, this is the part that's definitely gotta be careful. Just take your time. Give me a second. Just dropped one of these little springies. Alright. Cool. Alright, let's do this main alpha cluster. Cool. This is the very fragile part. And just being really careful, taking my time. Give me a second, I got two springs really stuck together. Just gonna unstuck these springs. Give me a second. This is the part that takes patience, everybody. Almost there. Almost there. There we go. All right, we're coming along. There we go. Slowly but surely we're getting there, folks. This is the nerve-wracking part. Cool. Almost there, folks. Almost done with our alpha cluster, and then we'll move on to our numpad, and I think we'll be almost ready to move on to the PCB finally. Almost there, folks. Oh, come on. Grabbing all these. There we go. All right, folks. That is all of our springs, which look pretty good. I do say so myself. So put the spare springs in our little baggie and put them with the spare parts. We're getting close, folks. Just got to do some stuff with the PCB, and then we'll be good. So let me grab my PCB. Let's grab my little work mat again. And we're going to come back. We're going to get our 205G0 out again. Let's wipe my PCB off really quick. All right, so let's grab our puppy right here. Awesome. And we're going to lube our PCB, everybody. Yes, you heard me correctly. We're lubing the PCB. So this is a tip that I picked up with Topre that I like. It's a little mod that I like doing with my Topre boards. So that's what we're going to do. So we're not going to lube the whole PCB. We're literally just going to lube the little circles where the domes and the rubber, the springs are going to make contact with. So we're just putting a little light coat of lube. Essentially where the domes are going to make contact. And once we do this, then we can put this PCB assembly on. And then we can start sandwich and screwing these together. Cool. Got that. Cool. It's coming along, folks. Coming along. Yeah, so this is going to be really good. Cool. All right, we're going to do our numpad, and then we'll go back to our numbers and our alphas. almost there, folks. So, again, this is just a little mod that I like doing. You don't have to do this. This is kind of unnecessary, but I like doing it. Alright. Let's do our numbers and our alphas, and then we'll be ready to start joining the PCB to our whole plate assembly. Almost there, folks. Almost there. Cool. Just gotta do our alphas now. Cool. 2 more rows, everybody. So, God, I've been on here almost 2.5 hours. This is like almost as much as an Alps build in terms of time, everybody. So, coming along. So, cool. All right, last row, everybody. Cool. Like 3 more. Cool. All right, friends. We are ready to meld this puppy. So, got our PCB lubed, everybody. Alright, let's actually grab our, fixture our screwdriver first, because we do want to. There we go. Let's figure out if this is a good screwdriver for this. Perfect. Alright. Let's move that, and let's align our plate up, and we got to make sure our screws line up with our standoffs. Give me a second. Alright. Start screwing in carefully. Oh, those are the wrong ones. Sorry, I grabbed the wrong screws. Oops. Oh man. It's these ones. Okay, those aren't reaching. Okay, we have a little bit of a problem. Give me a second. Yeah, those aren't reaching. Those are weird. Huh. Give me a second. I want to try something. Yeah, these screws aren't biting into it. Alright. Give me a second. Okay, we're gonna use these. It's okay. We're improvising, everybody. Just trying to get some four corners in here. I don't want to go too tight. And another thing too, if you do a taupe build, you mod like an HHKB. When you screw the PCB down, do not torque it. Do not like crank, like torque it down. You will do damage to your PCB. So you just want to go nice and light when you kind of torque it down. Not that one. Yeah, we're trying to get the perimeter. I'm getting there, friends. Yeah, getting these screws in. And there's a metric truckload of screws you gotta screw these PCBs down with. Yeah, getting there, folks. Almost there. Come on. There you go. Alright, cool. All those are good. Gotta do some little bit of a longer screw. Let's flip this over. Let's move my EMK boxes out of the way, so we don't need them. Put my little desk mat worky thing over here. We'll put our parts away too. But here we go, folks. That is a built Topre EC assembly for the 0413. So, look at that, folks. That looks pretty good. Came out gorgeous. Yeah, love how it came out. Yeah, came out perfect. So, all right, let me put all these little parts away, and then we'll do a quick test before I put keycaps on for everything, and then we'll get going. But yeah, put these little extra parts away. Okay, that one's good. Let's put these away. All right, cool. Put our extra parts away. Let's grab my ribbon cable. We're gonna need that. Here's our ribbon cable. Let's grab our bottom case. And let's insert our ribbon cable here. And then we'll do a little bit of a test. There's that. Let's figure out where our ribbon cable. Okay, I'm just gonna hold it, and we're gonna now go to Vial and test everything. Oh, not that one. It's the wrong app. Alright. I just want to go to my matrix tester. Make sure. Okay. Let's see what we got. Let's go to VIA then. Okay, I don't think this is flashed. Oh. It would help if I plugged the actual keyboard in. God. I'm like, there's no USB cable. I'm like, doy. Oh, God, yeah, that works. Ow, my soul, my ears. Yeah, there we go. All right, here we go. So I want to just check how things are programmed. That's good. We're not going to mess with any of that. But we want to make sure everything is programmed correctly. So we don't have any Windows keys on this one. So we're Win keyless. Let's figure out layout. Yep. Just programming everything right now. So give me a second, everybody. Left Alt. Okay, let me just program my layers really quick. Yeah, we're just programming the board right now, folks, so just give me a second. Yeah, we're just programming. Alright, just gotta program everything. Give me a minute. I'm just clearing my layers right now. We're not really using layers on this one. Cool. Give me a second, everybody. Cool. Alright, I have it programmed the way I want it. I'm going to do my matrix tester now. Oh, better turn off my, I don't need the beeper on. Yeah, I don't need my... Don't need that on. Holy cow. Yeah, so give me a second, folks. I'm still testing some stuff out. Well, I know the solenoid works. Just testing everything just to make sure everything is good. Oh, I didn't set up to ISO. Let me go to my layout really quick. There we go. Yeah, because we are ISO here. Cool. Turn the solenoid off. That's good. Alright, none of the beeper and the solenoid work, so that's nice. And we're programmed correctly for a correct layout. So far, everything is good because I really don't want to take this thing apart. Because I've had this happen before where, like, I forgot to put a spring in. That always sucks. Alright, we're good. Alright, I'm going to go out of vial really quick. So we're going to unplug the board and we're going to top mount this. So I'm going to unplug my ribbon cable from the bottom case. There we go. Let's put our bottom case to the side for right now. Let's get our top mount going. But yeah, this is looking good. We are money. So look at that taupe right there. That is beautiful in that case. So yeah, so let's get my top mount reinstalled, and then we'll put this board together. This is coming out great, everybody. I love how this is coming out, folks. Cool. Yeah, doing our little top mount here. Besides, I am a top mount guy, so of course this board is going to be top mounted. Cool. That's going good. Let's get the rest of them in there. So yeah, this is coming along good. All right. Looking good, folks. Looking good. All right. Almost done with our top mount. Then we can put this assembly in. I'm missing a washer. Huh. Oh, it's all good. Oh, there it is. Cool. Almost there, everybody. Cool. All right. So let's put that to the side. Let's get our top case, our bottom case, and let's meld these two puppies together. I want to just a little bit of dust I noticed in the bottom of the case. Let's just give it a good little wipe out. Cool. All right. Let's get this this ribbon cable connected. Cool. That's coming good. because. All right, friends. This ribbon cable's always stubborn, so. That didn't work. Okay. Alright, give me a second, folks. This ribbon cable's always weird. That's not good. Alright. Yeah, give me a second, folks. It's again, like, this is the type of build, once it's together, I never want to take it apart. Don't want to crush the ribbon cable. That's not good. Oh, I see. Okay, never mind. It's not the ribbon cable. It's my my little rubber domes are blocking my screw holes. I gotta cut those. I'm gonna get my little razor blade, and we're gonna cut out the little thingies. Cool. Looking good. So, it's a little bit of hand fitment we gotta do. There we go. Alright, almost there. It definitely didn't include the rubber dampener will block your screw holes. Definitely wasn't in the description. I gotta get tweezers to pull some of these off. Alright. Cool. Almost there. A couple more we gotta cut. And then we should be good. You know. Well, that one's good. One more, everybody. Like I said, I don't ever plan to take this board apart. This board's going to be together for till the end of time. There we go. Let me get a pair of pliers really quick. Alright. See if that did it. Cool. Alright, I think that little bit of hand fitting will do it. Now I think that'll do it. Alright. There we go. Got it. Alright, let's screw this puppy down. We'll do another test. And we'll start putting keycaps on. So, there we go, friends. Let's do our corners right here. Come along, folks. Again, this is a hidden screw design, which is not my favorite, if I'm going to be completely honest, but hey, it works. It's a minor nitpick on an otherwise great board. So, cool. All right, I'm going to put all my tools away because we are pretty much done building the board. We're just got to do keycaps and then do a final sound test. And yeah, we'll be good. Oh my god, that's a chunker. Look at that, everybody. Just wipe this board down really quick. And that is gorgeous. Look at that. Cool. All right. Let's just compare it to my another one of my 40s. Another one of my Tupper boards. That's my Gar Mini. So it just tells you just how big this board is. This board is like friggin' massive. So pretty crazy. So that's another one of my Topre builds. So all right, let's plug her in. Let's do another test just so that make sure everything works, and then we'll be ready for keycaps. Yeah. It's a 40%. There are numbers there. So the numbers are here. They are just hidden. So layers, my friend, layers. So 40% are for people who are crazy like me. So let's get into Vial really quick. Let's get Vial back open, and let's do our switch tester. And yeah, everything looks programmed correctly. Let's go to our matrix tester. Oh, all right, we are money. So yeah, great. All right, let's pull off our start pulling off our keycaps, and let's get going. Let's pull off our keycaps off our Cherry MX assembly, cause yeah, we're using the keycaps from this board, so this is pretty good. So let's put our stabilized keycaps on first. All right, definitely have to do some adjustments to our stabs, but yeah, we'll be good. Let's get our ISO. Cool. Yeah, we're just doing all of our stabilized keycaps first. Cool. All right, let's put on our. Let's start adding our keycaps. And yes, that enter says exactly what you think it says. Let's get our step caps. Let's put on our number pad. Again, it's nice that this is no longer Cherry MX. This is Topre. Like, that is awesome. Oh my god, this is great. Cool. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. It's coming along, folks. All right, almost there. Awesome. And then almost there. All right. So it's kind of cool. We have two internal assemblies for this. So we got the Cherry MX one. So these are NK cream linears, which are cool. So nice, really scratchy, old school sounding switch. But I don't care about the Cherry MX side on this board. We're going with Topre on this puppy. Look at this. Oh yeah, boy. Look at that. Look at this beauty, everybody. So that is freaking sick. So that looks amazing. And I love it. So yeah, everybody, look at that. That's sick. Again, it's Topre for sure. Let me grab the Class 80 and we can kind of do a little comparison of sound. I mean, we got 3 Topre, custom Topre. I mean, other thing too, I tell you people, with high-end custom Topre, it's not, you think Cherry MX is expensive. Once you move into like custom Topre, it gets expensive really quick. So here are my 3 like custom high-end Topre boards. So these have navies in the Agar Mini. This is, and then the Studio boards are based around the navies. I mean, based around the NIS EC kit. So yeah, really cool boards. Let me just move these other 2 Topres out of the way and we'll just kind of look at them. I want to show off what makes Studio boards like really cool. So let me plug this board in, and so here's the solenoid. So that's the solenoid. So I'm going to turn off the solenoid. Now let's go to this one. Oh. You want to hear the most annoying sound in the world, everybody? And this is what the board sounds like without it. So it's really nice. Again, the thing that's cool about these two boards, which are really nice, is like Topre is a pretty silent switch. It's very quiet. It's more so the feel of Topre. One thing that's just really cool about this particular board is if I want like a clack, then I got my clack. Hold up. Oh god, I like zoomed myself in. How do I unzoom myself? Yo, why is my screen zoomed in? I don't want that. Bro, I kept pressing the space bar and it zoomed me in. I'm like, bro, how do I do that? How do I fix this? Okay, my scene. Wow. I'll figure it out. I'll fix my thing. I'm sorry. I got my stream cut off, bro. Now we're like... nah, fam. I'm good right now. But hold up, friends. Misa good. Why did I press the space bar? Now my screen is all messed up, bro. I'm like, well, it's okay. All right. So everybody, I just want to kind of show it off. Let me unplug it. But yeah, this is the Studio class 0413 with the Topre kit. So this is really cool, and it features the Damaki Fatal Danger. So this is a Pulp Fiction themed keyboard, which is really cool, and the novelties on this board are absolutely hilarious. And yes, that enter says exactly what you think it says. I can't say it on screen because I don't want to get in trouble with Twitch, but yeah, there we go, friends. So there we go. So that was a long stream, just about 3 hours, everybody. So the VOD of this is going to be up on YouTube later this evening, and you check out my Instagram page and Reddit and Discord for nice pictures of this board tomorrow. So have a great rest of your evening, everybody. Again, thank you for everyone who kind of tuned in at different points during the stream. Have a great evening, everybody.